Yeah. We like to believe that Banks is coming to fight. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Major Predictions. And wow, last weekend was crazy. This weekend isn't looking that much easier either. There's so many freaking close fights, man, and I'm excited to share them with you guys. And before I begin, remember to subscribe and let's blow up this channel together. I really appreciate you guys for the love and the support. Let's get down to business. So, we have a fight coming up tomorrow. We have Eric Tudor versus Kevin Johnson. Now, it's a 10 rounder. Is Eric Tudor going to be tutoring Kevin Johnson? Ha 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 ha. Like, take him to school. Get it? Anyway, we see Eric Tudor as the favorite, but is he really the favorite? All right, let's see what I got down here. So Tudor is naturally the bigger guy, so we think he has more power than Johnson by default. Tudor is also the younger fighter by 9 years, so he's not at his prime yet. Johnson wasn't able to knock out the last three fighters who were between 139 to 143 pounds. Meanwhile, Tudor was able to win either by unanimous decision or knockout in his last three fights with fighters that weighed between 145 to 153 pounds. And we understand that they were different caliber fighters too. That's something to take into account always. The fighter's opposition. Johnson seems to be a warrior in his own right and extremely durable. Tudor works off the jab and has extremely fast twitch counterpunching abilities. Tudor likes to pick his opponents apart as the rounds go by. We think Johnson could be outboxed by Tudor based on both their last performances, which is only thing we kind of go by. It doesn't seem like Tudor likes to fight on the inside, and Johnson does. Johnson might try and make it messy for Tudor since he's the shorter opponent. Johnson's also very stationary and doesn't move too much when he's getting hit because he likes to trade. If he can handle Tudor's power, then we see the fight going over 8.5 rounds. But based on conditioning and power, we would go with Tudor on a money line, and that's what we would bet on if we had to. April 26th, this Saturday, a fight that we've all been waiting for, Chris Eubanks versus Benn. So this breakdown is going to be a little bit longer than usual because it took me kind of forever to really simulate and think about all the angles and all the things that could possibly happen in the fight. And honestly, even right now, I'm still not 100% confident. And here's the reason why. Because of the fact that Eubanks is 35 years old. And a lot of people around that age, we notice, lose motivation and don't really come to fight, at least the recent fighters. I mean, yeah, we can talk about Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, and Sergey Kovalev, right? And the list goes on and on. Arthur Beterbiev and stuff like that. But I mean, it's a different era of fighters. I mean, you can't compare this era of fighters with old school fighters, right? It's just they're just different breeds. So that's the only thing that's holding me back and making me think who's going to win this fight. But ultimately, if it weren't for the age, I do have Eubanks winning this fight. But let me finish my breakdown what I have written over here. Okay, so Eubanks is 35 years old, and a lot of people around that age lose motivation and don't really come to fight like the previous fights that we've seen recently, Raymond Ford and Thomas Matisse, and the list goes on and on. Once again, Jermaine versus Dalton Smith, right? We saw Jermaine was on his back pedal. Who else? Guido, right, versus Torres. We see that all these people came for a check. They weren't really down to fight. No disrespect. I mean, when you get older, you don't want to take too much damage. So I get that. So that's why we'll like to believe that we like to believe that Banks is coming to fight. And Benn is the younger fighter and is more explosive despite being accused of eating too many eggs, but we wouldn't count him out because he's fundamentally solid. Hand speed, footwork combinations, he has it all. He can potentially give Eubanks a lot of trouble, and Eubanks may or may not be able to keep him back for 12 rounds with his jab and reach advantage. We have seen Eubanks get dropped in 2023 by Liam Smith before while using Roy Jones style, and when he improvised going back to the basics, he was able to drop Smith on the rematch. Benn has been dropped twice before as well, but that was 7 years ago in 2018, and he's probably a lot stronger now and has improved a lot since then. I don't know about the stronger, right? Because a lot of people are saying, oh, because he's not juicing up and stuff. But who knows? Maybe, juicing up for this fight. Who knows? It's a pretty big fight. Although Ben is naturally smaller than Eubanks Jr., but we know that styles can make a fighter fight their fight, and we believe Ben's style can potentially disrupt most fighters' rhythm, including Eubanks. So we think Eubanks will be using the jab, uppercut, and possibly be clinching a lot. He probably won't want to engage in the pocket with Ben. Beating Ben gives him a shot with Canelo, and based on both their last fights, Eubanks looked a lot more promising. We think Ben could possibly get in the pocket and land some effective shots. If we go with power, height, and reach, then we think Eubanks Jr. has the edge. Ben can't fight backwards, so if Eubanks circles and comes in with his jab and puts his combos together, then Ben might be in trouble. This is a hard fight to call, but if we had to, we'll go with Eubanks on the money line. We think the props are too risky on this one. Next, we want to speak about Liam Smith versus Aaron McKenna. Okay, so we think Smith is definitely more experienced and has faced better opposition, right? There's no debate about that. But can Smith handle McKenna's height and power? And does Smith have the conditioning at the age of 36 to last 12 rounds? If Smith has the conditioning and power to stop McKenna, then he might be able to take this. But we think McKenna might treat Smith like a punching bag, which can possibly lead to a stoppage. It's also been 2 years since Smith has been in the ring, and the last time he was in the ring was with Eubanks, and he got dropped twice, and there was a stoppage. So we think the ring rust is going to be real, and we would bet on McKenna by decision, money line, or stoppage. Next, we have Anthony Yard versus Lyndon Arthur. Okay, this is the trilogy that nobody really asked for, but I'm kind of interested in seeing it because I kind of like the way Yard fights. I think he has a lot of personality. I like to see him fight. So we think Yard takes this by either decision or stoppage. So we'll bet the money line just to be safe. Just based on their recent performances, we think Yard is only defensively irresponsible when he doesn't respect the opponent's power. He knows how to box and can time his opponents pretty well. We think he will push Arthur back in this fight, and Arthur can't fight off the back foot. Since Yard is slightly shorter, it's easier for him to evade Arthur's jabs, which is the only thing Arthur really does, just the jab and moving around. And it'll be easier for Yard to go to Arthur's body because he's shorter. We also think that Yard is stronger than Arthur. If we look at their body type, I mean, Yard just looks sturdier. I don't know. Maybe it's because he's shorter, so he looks more compacted. I don't know. Next is Chris Billiam Smith versus Brandon Glanson. This is the first time Glanson is fighting a 12 rounder. Smith is bigger with very stiff movement and horrible cardio from what I saw. He's super average and Glanson isn't much better skill wise, but he seems to be more active and have better cardio. We think Glanson edges this, but not by much. Smith's size might be a factor, but because he doesn't have good cardio nor a habit to keep his jab up, we think Glanson will just keep hammering Smith's body and would have a lot of success since he's shorter. We wouldn't bet on this, but if we had to, we'll bet the Glanson by money line. Vidal Riley versus Siobhan Clark. Okay, Siobhan has fought many 10 and 12 rounders opposed to Riley, and he is 7 years older than Riley. Siobhan doesn't have as good cardio, in our opinion, and gets inactive in the later rounds based off of his last performance. Could have been because he got dropped, who knows? He can move and use his jab, but doesn't put much behind that jab. Riley, to me, is a Timu version of Ali, where he likes to constantly reset you with footwork, throws a jab to play with you, then occasionally shoots in with a 1-2 and maybe some combinations, depending on the fighter's positioning. Based on both their styles and last performance, we think Riley's a slicker boxer here, and now boxes Siobhan, so we'll take Riley on the money line. We can see the fight going the distance as well, depending if anyone is really coming to fight and if anyone lands any big shots. Siobhan's only chance is if he hurts Riley and catches him with a nice shot in the early round. All right, so that pretty much sums it up, and I hope you guys, have a wonderful boxing weekend. I hope you guys enjoy the fights. I hope whoever makes the bets, we all make a freaking bag together and recoup some of our L's. I'm not speaking for everybody, but I know that a lot of people took a L last weekend because it was kind of goofy. So good luck to everybody, and remember, subscribe to the channel. Keep showing me love and support. If there are any fights that you'll like me to cover, please don't hesitate to ask me. And until next time, thank you, everyone.